Dear learners, welcome to this NPTEL course on Science Communication, Research Productivity and Data Analytics using open source software. I am Dr. Neeraj Chaurasia from Central Library, IIT Delhi. The topic for today's lecture is Understanding Research Matrix, Author, Journal and Article Label Matrix. So in this lecture, I will be talking about measuring the research impact, what we are measuring, why scholarly impact of research is measured, how do we measure the impact of research work, also how research impact can be measured. So for measuring the research impact, I will be covering the various research metrics, impact assessment tools and techniques, which include author label, journal label, article label metrics. I will also cover some of the major arithmetic tools in my today's lecture. So as we know that the higher education is increasingly becoming a global business now. Some of the parameters like total number of publications, number of citations, H-index, quality of education, academic reputation, and so many other parameters are playing a very important role in branding or ranking of the institutions and for various other purposes also. A good number of points or weightages has been given to these parameters. All these comes from a quality research, its academic and social impact. So it is very important to measure the impact of research. For measuring the impact, it is also important to understand the concept of research metrics and various impact assessment tools, techniques and methods. Research metrics are quantitative tools that helps in assessing the quality and impact of research output. They can be used at journal level, article level and researcher level. Before moving to research metrics in details, first we need to understand what is research impact. As per Research Council UK, research impact is the demonstrable contribution that excellent research makes to the society and the economy. The impact embraces all the extremely diverse ways in which research related knowledge and skill benefit individuals, organizations and nation, including the academic, economic and societal impact. So whenever a researcher is doing research, it makes impact on society, economy and the academia. Impact occurs when research generates benefits in addition to the building the academic knowledge base. There are many types of research impact, and researcher may have impact across a number of different areas. That may be academic impact, cultural impact, economic impact, policy impact, environmental impact or societal impact. When we talk about the academic publishing, what we are measuring? We are measuring the quality of journals in which research is published, research impact, researcher impact, article reach, article impact and influence. These are the things which we are measuring. Now, why scholarly impact of research is required? The scholarly impact of research is very much required for strengthening your CV, for getting the job, promotion or getting the tenure. It also helps in showcasing or showing the individual or collective productivity, for quantifying the research on investment or ROI on research for grant renewals and progress reports. The scholarly impact of research is required for future funding by illustrating the value of your research. Scholarly impact is required. Also, scholarly impact of research is required to identify who is using your research work and confirm that is appropriately credited or not. It helps in finding the collaborators within or outside the discipline. It also helps in benchmarking self, research group, department or institutions, and it helps in showcasing the research collaborative as well. How we are measuring? Basically, impact of researcher on their field or discipline has been traditionally been measured using the number of papers they have published, number of citations they have received, number of citations per paper, but these were not found sufficient to measure the research in quality and quantity both. So various metrics, methods, techniques and indicators were evolved. Research impact is often measured using the quantitative methods such as citation counts, H-index, journal impact factor, etc. Currently, there is no one tool or system that completely measures the impact of research publications. Each database or tool uses its own measurement system, indices, data, and authority files. And it is difficult to use these tools to compare across the discipline that have different research and publication practices. For measuring the impact of author, we generally use number of papers in terms of the quantity, number of citations for somehow find out the quality of publications, average number of citations, H index in terms of quality and quantity both. For measuring the impact of journals, there are journal impact factor, site score, SNIP, SJR, and so many other matrices. For measuring the impact of articles, we generally use citation impact and few other matrices like alt matrix. Now coming to the research matrix tools and the methods. Research metrics are the fundamental tools used across the publishing industry to measure performance both at journal level and author level. For a long time, the only tool for assessing the journal performance was the impact factor. Now, there are a range of different research metrics available. This basket of metrics is growing every day. It is going every day from the traditional impact factor to alt matrix, H index, and beyond. Research metrics are measures used to quantify the influence or impact of scholarly work. As discussed, these are quantitative indicators or measures that provide some evidence of impact of research output in any form. It falls in two categories, bibliometrics and other one is alt matrix. Bibliometrics are the traditional citation based metrics. They are based on the citation count, basically counting how many times a publication has been cited in another publication. Alt metrics are the web based metrics. They are used to measure the attention or the interest of a scholarly work on various type of online platforms. This includes social media, research blogs, reference manager softwares, educational sites like Wikipedia, news outlets, online forums, and many other online resources. Matrices are available for use at journal level, article level, even at researcher level. However, any other matrix only tells a part of the story, and each metric also has its limitation. So each of these metrics has a specific impact. Using research matrices, you can assert your value, you can benchmark your career progress, you can communicate more effectively, and so on. Now, some of the more common matrices and tools you can use to measure research impact are journal level metrics, author level metrics, and article level metrics. Let's talk about journal level metrics in detail. Journal level metrics are used to determine the impact of journal on a scientific community. It measures the quality of journal using citation formulas such as impact factor and helps to track citation pattern within journal and determine which journal are highly cited. There are a number of bibliometric indicators focusing on measuring impact of scholarly journals. Most of these journal level metrics are calculated from the pool of journals indexed in two citation indexes or two citation databases. These are Web of Science from Clarivate Analytics and Scopus from Elsevier. You can see in this slide, this is the screenshot from the Web of Science. Using master journal list option, you can find out all the journals included in Web of Science. Similarly, in the Scopus, using the option sources, you can find out what are the journals indexed in Scopus database. Different journal level metrics can be divided into three parts. First one is Clarivate metrics, which are based on the Web of Science database. There are Elsevier's metrics, which are Scopus based, and there are some of the matrices from Google Scholar also. When we talk about the Clarivate metrics or Web of Science based metrics, these are journal level impact factor, 5 years impact factor, journal immediacy index, journal citation indicators, that is also known as JCI. Let's talk about Clarivate matrix or Web of Science based matrix. These are, first one is impact factor. In the early 1960s, Irwin S. Sear and Eugene Garfield created the journal impact factor to help in selecting the journals for Science Citation Index. Over the period of time, however, it has been adopted as a means of evaluating the quality of a research and their work. Journal impact factor is oldest, best known and most widely used measure for assessing the journal performance. It measures how often the average research article in a journal has been cited or used in other research in any particular year. It attempts to quantify the importance of a particular journal in a field. Journal impact factor used to measure the importance or rank of a journal by calculating the times its article cited. Journal metrics attempt to quantify the quality and influence of a given journal for comparison purpose. Idea is that more heavily cited journal must be more prestigious and attract higher quality papers. You can say higher the journal impact factor, the more influential the journal. JIF is often criticized for having a too short window for analysis, which is 2 years, and using JIF it is difficult to recognize different expectations of citation rates among different disciplines. Now, how it is being calculated? It is very simple. Number of citations to a journal in a given year from article occurring in past 2 years divided by the number of scholarly articles published in a journal in the past 2 years. Let's see an example. For year 2022 impact factor, if you want to calculate, what we have to do is the number of citations in the current year, means 2022, to the papers published in the journal in previous 2 years, those are 2020 and 2021. You have to divide those things with the total number of articles published in the journal in previous 2 years, that is 2020 and 2021. So formula is very simple, just divide total number of citations by total number of articles published in last 2 years. So you should never directly compare the journal impact factor of two journals with different subject disciplines. Let's talk about JCR, which is Journal Citation Report. JCR is authoritative source for journal level metrics from Clarivate Analytics, and it provides impact factor for a journal. JCR is a quantitative tool for ranking, evaluating, categorizing and comparing the journal. JCR is based on the journal indexes in Web of Science core collection, Science Citation Index, which is SCI expanded, and Social Science Citation Index, means SSCI. There is no JCR for humanities. We should keep in mind that a journal may advertise its impact factor on its website, but this claim should be verified through JCR. This is a screenshot from Web of Science. You can see at right side corner, JCR is there along with the other products from the Clarivate Analytics. In the JCR, you can use different options for searching. You can use the title or the ISSN number or any other option for find out the information about the journal. JCR is subscription based product from Clarivate Analytics, but previous years JCR can be found through various open access platforms like SearchGate. So if you don't subscribe the JCR, you can find out all JCR from different sources. Let's talk about JIF quartile. Journal's quartile ranking. A journal's quartile ranking is determined by comparing a journal to other in its JCR category based on the impact factor score. So basically the quartile are segregated or differentiate based on the impact factor of different journals. Each subject category of journals is divided into 4 quartiles, those are Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4. So Q1 contains the top 25 of journals in the list, whereas Q2 is occupied by journals in 25 to 50% group. Q3 contains journals in the 50% to 75% group, and Q4 is occupied by journals in 75 to 100% group. If a journal falls in Q1, it means the journal performs better than at least 75% of journals in the category based on its impact factor score. Let's talk about journal immediacy index. Journal immediacy index is the average number of citations to the articles from current year divided by the total number of articles from the current year. It indicates how quickly articles in a journal are cited during the current year. So it's very important index. So if you want to calculate the journal immediacy index for 2023, what you have to do is the cites in 2023 to the item published in 2023 and divided by the total number of items published in 2023. So this is how this journal immediacy index can be calculated. Now let's talk about this 5 years impact factor. This is also very important metrics for journals. It indicates how much the journal being cited during most recent 5 full years. For the calculation of this, citations to the articles from the most recent full 5 years divided by the total number of articles from the most recent 5 full years. For example, for the year 2014, 5 years impact factor for NEJM, which is New England Journal of Medicine, is 54.39. So how it is calculated? What you have to do is you just take the citations which start from 2009, 10, 2011, 2012 and 2013 in the year 2014 and divide the total number of papers which are published since 2009 to 2013. So you will be able to find the 5 years impact factor of the journal. Now let's talk about this journal citation indicator, which is the new matrix from Clarivate Analytics. JCI is a new way from the year 2021 from the Clarivate Analytics to measure the citation impact of journal recent publications using a field normalized calculation. It provides a single journal label matrix that can be easily interpreted and compared across the discipline. It is based on the journal citation performance across 3 full years of citation data rather than a single year's snapshot of a journal's performance across the previous 2 years. JCI focuses entirely on the articles and reviews. Journal citation indicator is calculated for all the journals in Web of Science core collection and published in JCR. It is the average category normalized citation impact, which is known as CNCI, of citable items published by a journal over a recent 3 years period. Because it is normalized, it allows comparison across the disciplines. For example, 2023 JCI will be calculated for the journals that published citable items. Those are research papers classified as articles or reviews in the Web of Science in 2020, 2021 and 2022, counting all the citations they received from any document indexed between 2020 and 2021. JCI, there are various indicators in JCI. What is the meaning of those indicators? A journal with the indicator of 1 received the average citation count in its category. A journal citation indicator above 1.0 means that the journal performs better than average, with 2.0 indicating the journal performance twice as well as average, and 0.5 indicates that the journal performs half as well as the average. So the journal that received a JCI score of 2.5 performed 2.5 times better than average. So these are some of the indicators in JCI. Now what is the difference in journal citation indicators and journal impact factor? You should know, because this JCI is new matrix from Clarivate Analytics. So what is the difference in both? JCI is designed to complement the GIF, which is the original and long-standing matrix for the journal evaluation. In addition to use normalization, there are several key differences between JCI and JIF. For example, JCI's calculation on 3 years of publication contrasts with the 2 years window employed for the JIF. This 3 years calculation enables JCI to be as current as possible while also allowing more time for publications to acquire citations. Also, JIF calculation is based on the citations made in the current year, while the JCI counts citations from any time period following publications up to the end of current year. So this is the difference in both the indicators. Now let's talk about the Elsevier metrics, which are based on the Scopus database. Some of these are Cite Score, Citation Tracker, SJR, which is also known as SciMago General Ranking, SNIP, which is Source Normalized Impact per Paper. So Cite Score metrics introduced in 2016 a family of 8 indicators to analyze the publication influence of serial titles. Cite Score metrics offer more robust, timely, and accurate indicators of a serial title's impact. Cite Score calculates the average number of citations received in a calendar year by all the items published in that journal in preceding 3 years. It counts all the documents since they all have the potential to attract citations. So we may say that the Cite Score is independent of document classification. Articles in press are also included in the calculation of Cite Score. For example, the year 2019 Cite Score count the citation received in 2016 up to the 2019 to the articles, reviews, conference papers, book chapters, and the data papers published during 2016 to 2019 and divides this by the number of these documents published during 2016 to 2019. So this calculation is also very simple. What you have to do is the number of citations to the document published during 2016 to 19 and divide by the number of documents published in 2016 to 2019. So you will get the Cite Score. The 4 years Cite Score time window provides a robust assessment of citations to papers after their publications. Also, a 4-year publication window is a good fit for all subject areas and it's long enough to capture the citation peak of most discipline. So you can find out the Cite Score or any other metrics on the journal page. Like in this slide, you can see this journal has all kind of metrics on their home page. You can also find out the Cite Score metrics or Cite Score in Scopus database for all the journals which are covered in Scopus. Now next one is Cite Score Tracker. Cite Score Tracker helps to see how a title Cite Score is building each month. It provides a current review of how a journal is performing during the course of the year. Cite Score Tracker calculated in the same way as Cite Score, but for the current year rather than the previous complete years. Calculation is updated every month. Now SJR indicator, which is also known as SciMago Journal Ranking, which is from Elsevier, it's very important metrics. It is a prestige metric for journals, book series and conference proceedings that weights the value of citations based on the subject field, quality and reputation of sources. SJR indicator gives weightage to the citations. Also, from where the citations are coming from. Citations from more prestigious journals means the journal with higher JCR weighted more than the citations from less prestigious journals which are having the lower SJR. So prestige is basically based on the citations from where those are coming from. The citations from important journal will count as more than one citation. A citation from a less important journal will count less than one citation. SJR uses a 3-year citation window and is calculated based on the Scopus sources. To raise the SJR ranking, one needs to be published in more reputed journal. That is only the way to increase SJR. The formula for calculation of SJR is, what you have to do is the average number of weighted citations received in a year divided by the number of documents published in previous 3 years. So this is how you can calculate the SJR. SJR is freely available and you can access it. This is the screenshot from SJR, and you can find out the country wise or journal wise ranking from the SJR, and currently India is at level 7 if you see the country wise matrix or SJR. Now let's talk about the SNIP, which is source normalized impact per paper. It measures contextual citation impact by taking differences in disciplinary characteristics into the account. This can be used to compare journals in different fields. SNIP normalizes for differences in citation behavior between subject fields. SNIP weighted citation based on the total number of citations in subject field. The calculation is based on the citations from subject fields in which citations are less likely are weighted more. Number of citations in the present year to the publication in the past 3 years normalizes to correct the differences between scientific fields. SNIP therefore measures the contextual citation impact and enable direct comparison of journals in different subject fields. So using SNIP you can compare two journals in different fields. What you have to do is journal citation count per paper should be divided by the citation potential in its subject field. You can find out the SNIP or SJR or cite score in any of the journal page. Now another important matrix is FWCI, which is field weighted citation impact. FWCI takes into account the differences in research behavior across the discipline. FWCI is the ratio of citations actually received by the articles published in a journal and the average number of citations received by all other similar publications indexes in the Scopus database. Similar publications are those publications in the Scopus database that have the same publication year, publication type and discipline. FWCI value answer the question of whether a journal is cited above or below the global average in its particular field. FWCI of 1 indicates that the publication have been cited at world average for the similar publications. Similarly, FWCI of greater than 1 indicates that the publication have been cited more than would be expected based on the world average for similar publications. For example, a score of 1.44 means that the output have been cited 44% more times than the expected. FWCI of less than 1 indicates that the publications have been cited less than would be expected based on the world average for similar publications. For example, the score of 0.85 means 15% less cited than the world average. So FWCI refers to the citations received in the year of publications plus following 3 years. FWCI can be used to directly compare or benchmark the performance of an article against the articles because it is normalized. It is calculated using the data from the Scopus database. FWCI is a unique matrix that is only available via Scopus SciVal, and it is calculated based on the publications indexed in Scopus after 1996. For calculating FWCI, what we have to do is the citations received by the publications in the publication year plus following 3 years divided by the expected number of citations per publication received in the same time by similar publications. So this is how this FWCI can be calculated. You can find FWCI on individual journal page, and calculation can be done as described. Now let's talk about some of the metrics from journal metrics from Google Scholar. Google Scholar has adopted the H-index method of impact for publications and H5 variations for complete 5 years calendar for journals. You can find out Google Scholar Matrix on Google Scholar page. What is H-index of journals? A more recent journal metric that was designed to create a simple way to represent the quality of a journal. Ideally, a method that is more reflective of majority of papers published in a journal instead of potentially few highly cited papers is the H-index. So, using this H-index, what you can do, how you can find out the H-index of a journal. Simply, it can be defined as the H-index value of a journal is the number of papers, which is H, published in a journal that have been cited at least H times. So, this is the definition of H-index of a journal. For example, if a journal has published 20 papers that have each been cited at least 20 times, then the journal's H-index is 20. Similarly, a publication with 5 articles cited by respectively 17, 9, 6, 3 and 2 has the H-index of 3 because 5 articles have been received at least 5 citations. So, this is how this H-index of journal can be calculated. Now, what is H5 index? H5 index is another matrix from Google Scholar. H5 index is the H-index of articles published in the last 5 complete years. A publication that had 5 articles but only 3 had at least 5 citations or more would be H5 of 3. This metric is based on the articles published by a journal over 5 calendar year. For example, H5 of 60 means that the journal has published 60 articles in the previous 5 years that have 60 or more citations each. The limitation of Google Scholar metrics are: Google Scholar metric displays the top 20 journals for each subject category. Additionally, there is no historical data. So, this is the limitation of Google Scholar journal metrics. Author level metrics provides an assessment of the impact that an author makes on the scientific community or field of the study. Author level metrics are used to track how often an author's work is cited. It helps in demonstration of reach and impact of author's work. Also, author level metrics helps to track the work of colleagues and identify potential collaborators for collaborations in the projects. There are a number of author level metrics which includes H-index, I-10 index, G-index, M-index, author impact factor and so on. Let's understand these metrics in detail. So, first one is H-index, which is best known and most widely used metrics. H-index was proposed by J. Hirsch, who was physicist in the year 2005. It is an index to quantify the individual scientific research output. H-index measure both quality and somehow the quantity of an author's paper. It also measures the quality and sustainability of scientific output as well as to some extent the diversity of scientific research. H-index measure both the productivity and impact of publications. It is the metric that measures the impact of an author's scholarly output and performance. It compares publications to citations to measure quantity and quality both. So, how you can define H-index? A scholar with an index of H has published H papers, each of which has been cited in another papers at least H times. So, this is the simple definition of H-index. You can see in this slide the interpretation of H-index. This author has published number of papers, but his 20 papers has received at least 20 citations. So, his H-index is 20. Again, in this slide you can see the author has published 6 papers and he has index of 6 because his 6th paper has received at least 6 citations. So from where you can find this H index? There are a number of sources for finding out H index. You can find out the H index from Web of Science, you can find out from Scopus, and also from the Google Scholar. H index is the lifetime achievement, and it always increase with your citations and will only increase, it never decrease. It is meaningful when you compare H index within the same discipline. So this simple calculation of H index is, if you want to calculate it manually, to manually calculation of H index, what you have to do is organize the articles in descending order based on the number of times they have cited, where both the rows are matching. That would be the H index of the author. This is the screenshot of Scopus. You can see this author has this H index of 52. He has published 269 papers which are received more than 10,000 citations, but his 52 papers has received 52 citations, so that's why his H index is 52. So in Scopus and Web of Science, it is automatically calculated and will give you the author's H index. As per the Scopus, the Billet Walter is having 319 H index, which is the maximum H index in Scopus. Similarly, in the Web of Science also you can find the H index of particular author. Again, you can see H index in Google Scholar along with the item index and other metrics. Google Scholar will give you the H index also for the author. As per the Google Scholar, Ronald K. Kessler has the maximum H index. So now question comes, what is the best H index? So as per J. Hirsch, after 20 years of research, an index of 20 is good, 40 is outstanding, and 60 is truly exceptional. The advantage of H index, that is, combines productivity, the number of papers they have published, and the impact, the number of citations in a single number. Now G index is in another author level matrix. G index is coined by Leo Age in 2006, which is an improvement of H index. It is an index of which is quantifying the productivity in science based on the publication record. G index assists the H index and gives more credit to the most highly cited papers. G index is the unique largest number that the top articles receive together at least G square citations. G index is calculated by ranking a set of articles in decreasing order of the number of citations that occur. Limitation of G index is that it is not as widely as accepted as H index. This slide shows how this G index is calculated. So in this slide you can see the H index is 5 and G index is 7. Now what is I10 index? I10 index was introduced in 2011 by Google, and it is the number of publications with at least 10 citations. If I10 index is 2, then what it means? It means that 2 of the research paper has 10 or more citations each. I10 index is very simple, free and straightforward to calculate, but it is only available in Google Scholar. Now let's talk about M index. M index is another variant of H index that displays H index per paper since first publication. The H index tends to increase with the career length, and M index can be used in a situation where H index is a shortcoming, such as comparing researchers within a field but with very different career lengths. In that case, M index may be very useful. M index is inherently assumes unbroken research activity since the first publication. It helps to normalize between those at the earliest stage and their career. M index is the H index divided by the times, means years, between the first and most recent publications. For calculating this M index, what you have to do is take the researcher's H index and divide by the number of years since their first publication. So you will find the value of M. Now, what is author impact factor? Author impact factor is the extension of impact factor to the authors. Author impact factor is capable to capture trends and variations of impacts of the scientific output of scholars in time. So how it is being calculated? Cites in suppose you want to calculate the author impact factor for 2023. What you have to do is you have to take the cites in 2023 to the articles he or she has published in 2022 and 2021 and divide by total number of articles he or she has published in 2022 and 2021. So using this formula, you will be able to find the author impact factor. We need to understand all these metrics have some of the limitations which we need to consider. Some of those are, like in case of impact factor or H index are depending upon the citations. Citations count can be affected in number of ways. There are no single source incomprehensive. There is 35 to 40% of overlapping in two major citation databases. Those are Web of Science and Scopus. Publication dates or years, frequency of journal may affect the results. Research measures across the discipline may also differ. As we have discussed earlier also, impact factor was never meant to be used as a quality measure for researchers. Distribution in citation is highly skewed. One obvious limitation of impact factor calculation is that the resulting value can be easily thrown off by just one or a few highly cited papers. So it doesn't necessarily reflect the quality of each individual paper that is published in the journal. So these are the limitations of impact factor. It also takes at least 3 years worth of data to calculate. So new journals need to wait at least 3 years for receiving or for earning the impact factor. So this is also one of the limitation. The coverage has also limitations. Now, what are the limitations of H index? You cannot compare productivity of younger researchers with experienced scholar. You cannot compare scholars working in different fields or disciplines. Different databases gives different H index scores depending upon the coverage, etc. So these are the limitations of H index. Measuring the impact of articles using the citation analysis, there are few limitations or which we need to consider. Once the article is published, different online tools keep track on number of times they have cited. Number of citations are useful, but it should not only the criteria for evaluate the impact of author. We need to see there are different studies shows that articles in medical field are cited the most. Science article also tend to have a high citation rate. Humanities and social science articles are cited the least. Many articles are never cited. Self citations may affect the total number of citations recorded. Some articles are cited soon after the original publications. Other may not be cited for a future, or other may not be cited for a further 5 or 10 years. So these are some of the limitations which we need to consider using these matrices. Now let's talk about article level metrics. Article level metrics are used to quantify the impact of published articles, how published papers are being discussed and shared. Article level metrics process uses various sources of information. One is altmetrics. So what is altmetrics? Altmetrics is an alternative to the traditional citation metrics. They can include peer reviews, citations on Wikipedia and in public policy document, discussions on research blogs, media coverage, bookmarks on reference managers like it may be Mendeley, or any other reference managers, and mentions in the social media networks such as Twitter and all. Therefore, the data for calculating the altmetrics is sourced from the web and can give insights into the research output activity across various platforms as soon as the article is published. Article level metrics allows to measure the impact of your research before it starts receiving the citations. Altmetrics used the DOI of research papers to monitor and aggregate its coverage across the internet. Altmetrics coined by Jason Priem in 2010, and he defined altmetrics are meant to complement, not totally replace, these traditional measures such as citation count, journal prestige or impact factor, and H-index. Altmetrics as a subset of webometrics, he defines like that. Simply, altmetrics are metrics beyond the traditional metrics. Why we use altmetrics? Because traditional measures of impact are inadequate. Citations are only a small part of scholarly ecosystem and only represent one type of impact. Most research includes journal articles are now available in network environment. So we need to see what is going on in electronic environment. So that's why this altmetrics is very, very important. Altmetrics will provide a more complete picture of the reach and impact of research and scholarship. So that's why this altmetric is playing a very important role. Also, for measuring the researchers and research work, altmetrics can help in this regard. To demonstrate the value of academic as well as the non-academic engagements and societal value, altmetrics can play an important role in finding out that. To understand and join the public conversation, what is the impact or what is the views of the public on particular topic, we can find out that think using the altmetrics tools. Find out the research gaps and the interest. This is also very important to see, and also to discover non-traditional research output. So that's why these altmetrics tools are very important. Using various altmetric tools, we can find out how many times someone is downloaded my article, who is reading my work, has it been covered by news outlets, or who is commenting on my work, how it is being shared, which countries are looking at my work, and so on. There are so many things which can be find out using altmetric tools. Now, altmetric data is aggregated from many sources. There are a number of sources from where this altmetric data can be aggregated. So that may be GitHub or Mendeley or PLOS, ORCID, and so many other databases, or maybe Figshare or SlideShare, Wikipedia and all. There are number of altmetric tools, and some of them are like altmetric.com, Impact Story, PLOS article level metrics, PlumX metrics, then Reader Meter, Science Card, Paper Critic, Crowdometer and all. So there are some of the altmetric tools which can be used to find out the altmetric score of particular research or any share. What is altmetric.com? Altmetric was born as it's a London-based startup founded by Ian Oddy in 2011. Their mission was to make article level metrics easy. Individual users and librarians can use altmetric.com with a free account. With a commercial license is required in case of publisher or funder or the institutions. Altmetric score is a quantitative measure of quality and quantity of attention that a scholarly article has received through social media. This is the screenshot. You can see, you can find out the altmetric score using this this website. Another one is Impact Story. It is an open source web-based altmetric tool. Impact Story uses the ORCID ID ORCID to find the data and import scholarly work. It aggregates impact data from many sources, from Mendeley to GitHub to Twitter and many more, and displays it in a single point. User create collections of materials through the online identifiers such as Google Scholar, DOIs, and PubMed IDs, etc. Impact Story uses more than a dozen of APIs to search for metrics. The Impact Story account can be synchronized with ORCID to update automatically when new content is published. Scholars need to enter the information about these articles, such as DOI, to generate an impact report. Another important article label matrix is PLOS article label matrix. PLOS is a non-profit open access publisher empowering research to accelerate the progress in science and medicine by leading a transformation in research communication. It is a project started in 2009, and PLOS article label matrix tracks the usage citations and social media activity for all PLOS articles. These matrix compromises of data points that capture the ways in which research articles are read, saved, shared, or commented or cited. PLOS has begun to track impact metrics beyond just citation count. It has developed software that will track the number of times an article is shared using social network tools such as Facebook, Mendeley, and some of the other social media websites. Now, next one is Science Card. Science Card is an automatic tool for website which collects metrics automatically in different ways, such as citations, download counts, altmetrics in different disciplines for a particular researcher by a unique author identifier. Next one is Reader Meter. Reader Meter is a cloud computing and massive visualization author level matrix, and it is based on the consumption of scientific content by a large population of readers. Readership data is obtained by a Mendeley API, and analyzing readership data can help discover areas of real-time impact that may not be visible to traditional citation-based metrics or measurements. Crowdometer is also provide web-enabled service which displayed tweets linking to scientific articles and allows user to add uh, semantic information for betterment of digital services among users. It results of such crowdsourcing efforts can display it in real time. Paper Critic is also one of the automatic tool which offers to researchers a process of monitoring all type of feedbacks about their research work in exhaustive, expeditiously and pinpointedly. Apart from this, it also allows every researchers to easily review the research work of others in a relevant field or subfield. Another important tools is Plumix Matrix. Plumix measure the individual works of a research scholar. It is founded by Andrew Michale and Mike Boseman in late 2011. Plumix is tool to harvest metrics from various online sources and impact dashboard for measuring research output. Plumix provide both altmetric and traditional metrics. It divides the type of interaction into the 5 categories, which include citations, usage, captures, mention, and social media. It is integrated into Elsevier products like Scopus, ScienceDirect, SciWell, and Pure. It is a subscription-based product, and it is available only via subscription. So in all the products from Elsevier, you will find this sign of Plumix matrix, and it will give you the complete data on those 5 components. You can go to the particular journal website or particular journal page, you will find out these kind of altmetrics scores. So several publishers are providing such information to the readers, including this Frontier or Nature Publishing, Springer Nature, Elsevier, ResearchGate. So now journals, they are having the altmetric score on their website or publisher website or individual journal page. Now, what is altmetric score and why it is important? Altmetric data can help researchers to understand how their research is being interacted with by the public, government, policymakers, and other researchers. Altmetric score are measures used to gauge online consumption, perception of research papers within the non-scientific community. With these outsourced data, public reactions can be effectively captured and analyzed by the experts within the short period. Altmetric score for the research output provides an indicators of amount of attention that it has received. The score is derived from the automatic algorithm and represent a weighted count of amount of attention picked from research output. Altmetric score can gathered immediately as you publish your research work. So now at the end, I would like to summarize. Research metrics don't replace the traditional ways of assessing the research impact. For example, peer review, research funding, practical application, and so on. They simply provide this additional data to make impact assessment more accurate and meaningful. Research metrics must be considered in context. Any direct comparison should be made carefully. The researcher's field of study as well as career length of researcher will greatly affect the citations and attention the work receives. Research metrics are not universal. They are limited to the data sets from various platforms from where they are drawn. Citations count in various citation databases will differ, and different metrics track different data. Always include the source of any impact metrics you are reporting. I would like to quote Albert Einstein. He rightly said that not everything that counts can be measured, not everything that can be measured count. The practical part of all these metrics will be covered by some of the other colleagues. At the end, I would like to express my sincere thanks to various internet sources and also authors of those internet sources used to prepare this talk. The presentation is mainly prepared to create an awareness among learners in the field. So I would like to acknowledge all those sources. Thank you very much once again for becoming the part of this NPTEL program. Thank you very much.